Understanding the way you learn is very beneficial to achieving success both academically and professionally. The VAK learning style theory states that we each have a different learning preference and process information in different ways. According to the theory, there are three main learning modalities: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. By identifying your preferred or innate style, you can tailor your study techniques or work to improve your learning and understanding and retention of information, and therefore improve your performance. Visual. Visual learners process information best when seeing information, such as text, diagrams, charts, videos, and images. They tend to have a strong preference for visual aids to assist their learning and processing of information, and can find it most beneficial to take notes, make diagrams, create mind maps, and draw pictures. For instance, a visual learner may benefit from watching a video tutorial to understand how to use a new software program, or prefer to read an infographic that illustrates key concepts rather than listen to a lecture or verbal instructions. Visual learners often excel in subjects that require visualization, such as math, science, art, and design. Visual learners may also excel in artistic fields such as graphic design, photography, and video production, as they have a natural ability to create visually appealing work. Other jobs that may suit visual learners include architecture, web design, and animation, as they involve creating visual representations and designing visual layouts. Strategies that can help visual learners. Use visual aids. Visual aids can help reinforce concepts and improve comprehension. Visual learners should try to use charts, diagrams, videos, and other visual aids whenever possible to enhance their learning. Take notes. Visual learners may find it helpful to take notes during lectures or presentations, as this can help them better process and remember the information. Use colour coding. Colour coding notes or information can help visual learners to categorise and organise information more effectively. Create mind maps. Mind maps are a great way to visually represent and connect concepts. Visual learners can use mind maps to organise their thoughts and ideas and to better understand the relationships between different concepts. Watch videos or demonstrations. Visual learners may benefit from watching videos or demonstrations that illustrate key concepts or skills. This can help them better visualise and understand the information. Use flashcards. Flashcards can be a helpful study tool for visual learners, as they provide a visual cue to help them remember information. Read and write. Although visual learners may prefer to learn through images and diagrams, reading and writing can still be important for reinforcing concepts and improving comprehension. Challenges for visual learners. Heavy reliance on auditory materials. When information is presented primarily in the form of spoken content, visual learners may struggle to retain the details as effectively as they would with visual aids. Lack of visual aids or resources. In work or study environments where visual materials are scarce or unavailable, visual learners may have a harder time understanding and retaining information. Inability to visualize abstract concepts. Visual learners may find it challenging to grasp abstract ideas or theories that may be difficult to represent visually. Poor note-taking skills. Visual learners often benefit from using diagrams, mind maps, or other visual aids in their notes. If they haven't developed these skills, they may have difficulty organising and retaining information. Difficulty following verbal instructions. Visual learners might struggle to understand and remember instructions given solely through speech, as they typically prefer to see things demonstrated or written down. Inefficient group work. In group settings where members have different learning styles, visual learners may feel frustrated if their needs are not acknowledged or accommodated. Distractions. Visual learners may be sensitive to visual clutter or distractions in their environment, which might make it difficult for them to concentrate and absorb information. Auditory. Auditory learners learn best through sound and verbal communication, rather than just reading it or watching it being demonstrated. Examples of activities that auditory learners find beneficial include listening to podcasts or audiobooks, participating in group discussions or debates, attending lectures, and listening to music or soundtracks while studying. Also, auditory learners may benefit from reading aloud or recording themselves reading information to help reinforce their understanding. Subjects and jobs that require good listening and communication skills may be suitable for auditory learners. Examples of subjects that may cater to auditory learners include language classes, music, and public speaking. Auditory learners may also excel in careers that involve verbal communication such as teaching, journalism, counselling, and broadcasting. They may have a talent for writing, storytelling, or producing audio content such as podcasts and audiobooks. Strategies that can help auditory learners. Participate in group discussion. Auditory learners benefit from group discussions and debates as they have the opportunity to hear different perspectives and ideas. Use recordings. Auditory learners can benefit from recording lectures or lessons and then listening to them repeatedly. Utilize mnemonic devices. Auditory learners can remember information by creating rhymes, songs, or acronyms to help them recall important details. Read information aloud. Auditory learners benefit from repeating information aloud to themselves as it helps to better process and retain the information. Listen to audiobooks or podcasts. Audiobooks and podcasts can be a great way for auditory learners to learn and retain information as they are able to listen to the material at their own pace. Challenges for auditory learners. Visual heavy materials. Auditory learners may struggle with learning from written materials such as diagrams, charts, or graphs as they prefer to process information through listening. Quiet environments. In situations where minimal talking or auditory input is expected, such as silent reading, these learners might feel less engaged and struggle to focus or retain information. Limited verbal instruction. If instructions or explanations are primarily provided in written form, auditory learners may have a harder time understanding and retaining the information. Group projects. Working in groups can be challenging for auditory learners if there's excessive background noise or if conversations are unstructured, making it difficult to process information. Note-taking. Auditory learners find it challenging to take detailed notes during lectures or meetings as they prefer to focus on listening and may struggle to write and listen simultaneously. Online courses. E-learning platforms with primarily text-based content may not be ideal for auditory learners. They might have difficulty engaging with the material if there are limited opportunities for listening to lectures or participating in discussions. Non-verbal cues. Since auditory learners focus on verbal communication, they might miss or misinterpret important visual or non-verbal cues such as body language or facial expressions. Kinesthetic. Kinesthetic learners are individuals who process information best when it's presented in a hands-on format. They may find it difficult to sit still and listen to a lecture or watch a video for an extended period. Instead, they may benefit from participating in hands-on training sessions, simulations, or other experiential learning activities to help them understand complex concepts. Kinesthetic learners tend to excel in subjects and jobs that involve physical activity, experimentation, and hands-on problem solving. They often have a natural aptitude for activities that require good hand-eye coordination, spatial awareness, and dexterity. Some subjects that kinesthetic learners may excel at include physical education, sports, dance, art, theatre, and science labs. In terms of careers, kinesthetic learners may find success in fields such as construction, engineering, automotive repair, nursing, physical therapy, culinary arts, and performing arts. They may also excel in roles that involve physical labour such as landscaping, farming, or manufacturing. Ultimately, kinesthetic learners are likely to thrive in any job that allows them to use their hands and engage their senses in a meaningful way. Strategies that can help kinesthetic learners. Engage in hands-on activities. Kinesthetic learners can benefit from activities that allow them to manipulate objects or use their hands in some way. This might include building models, working with puzzles, or doing experiments. Use movement. Kinesthetic learners often need to move in order to learn effectively. This might include taking frequent breaks to stretch or do physical activities like yoga or exercise to help them stay focused. Role-playing. Acting out scenarios or role-playing can be an effective way for kinesthetic learners to understand complex concepts or practice skills. Take notes by hand. Writing notes by hand can be helpful for kinesthetic learners as it allows them to physically engage with the material and reinforce their understanding through muscle memory. Use visual aids. Kinesthetic learners may benefit from visual aids like diagrams and videos or illustrations that help them understand concepts in a tangible way. Work in groups. Collaborating with others can be a helpful strategy for kinesthetic learners as it allows them to engage in hands-on activities with others and learn through discussion and interaction. Get hands-on experience. Kinesthetic learners may benefit from seeking out internships, apprenticeships, or other opportunities that allow them to gain practical experience in their field of interest. Challenges for kinesthetic learners. Passive learning environments. Lecture-based classes, long meetings, or webinars can be challenging for kinesthetic learners who may have difficulty concentrating and retaining information in these settings. Lack of hands-on experiences. Workplaces or educational settings that lack opportunities for hands-on learning or practical application of skills may leave kinesthetic learners feeling disconnected from the material. Limited movement opportunities. Kinesthetic learners may find it difficult to concentrate in environments where they must sit still for extended periods. Note-taking challenges. Kinesthetic learners may struggle with traditional note-taking methods as they prefer to engage with the material in more physical ways. Group work or collaboration. Kinesthetic learners may have a hard time working in groups as they may prefer to explore and learn independently through trial and error. Difficulty with abstract concepts. Kinesthetic learners may struggle with abstract or theoretical concepts as they prefer to learn through direct experience. Slow pace. Kinesthetic learners may become impatient with the slow pace as they prefer to engage actively with the material and make progress quickly. Why is it important to know your VAK learning style in the workplace? Knowing your VAK learning style can be beneficial in the workplace in these ways. Improve learning and retention. When you know your learning style, you can seek out learning opportunities that cater to your preferred style. Increased engagement. When learning materials are presented in a way that aligns with your learning style, you're more likely to be engaged and interested in the content. This can lead to increased motivation and productivity. Better communication. Knowing your own learning style also helps you communicate more effectively with colleagues and team members. By sharing your preferences with others, you can work together to find the best way to communicate and collaborate effectively. Improve performance. By understanding your own learning style, you can identify areas where you may need additional support or training. For example, if you're a kinesthetic learner, you may benefit from hands-on training sessions to improve your skills. This can lead to improved performance and success in the workplace. Understanding your own VAK learning style can be valuable in the workplace. By knowing your preferred learning style, you can seek out learning opportunities that align with your preferences, increase engagement and motivation, communicate more effectively with colleagues, and improve your overall performance. Why is it important to know your VAK learning style while studying? Knowing your VAK learning style can be helpful when studying in these ways. Study techniques. When you know your preferred learning style, you can tailor your study techniques to match your style. For example, if you're a visual learner, you may find it helpful to use diagrams, charts, and mind maps to help you understand complex concepts. If you're an auditory learner, you may find it helpful to listen to lectures or discussions related to the topic. Study environment. You can create a study environment that matches your learning style. For example, if you're a kinesthetic learner, you may prefer to study in a space where you can move around and use hands-on materials. If you're an auditory learner, you may prefer to study in a quiet space where you can listen to lectures or discussions. Retention of information. When studying, you may find you retain information better when it's presented in a way that matches your learning style. For example, if you're a visual learner, you may only remember information if it's presented in a written format. For example, if you're a visual learner, you may remember information better if it's presented in a written format. Knowing your VAK learning style can help you study more effectively by tailoring your study techniques and environment to match your learning style. This can help you retain information better and ultimately improve your academic performance. How can you find out your VAK learning style? There are a number of ways to identify your VAK learning style. Self-assessment. You can take a self-assessment to identify your preferred learning style. There are many free online assessments that can help you determine your VAK learning style. Observation. You can observe your behaviour to determine your learning style. For example, if you tend to take a lot of notes during meetings or training sessions, you may be a visual learner. If you prefer to listen to lectures or discussions, you may be an auditory learner. If you prefer to participate in hands-on activities, you might be a kinesthetic learner. Feedback. You can also ask for feedback from colleagues, managers, or trainers. They may have noticed your learning preferences and can provide you insight into your learning style. Trial and error. You can try different learning styles to determine which works best for you. For example, if you're unsure whether you're a visual or auditory learner, you can try watching a video and listening to a podcast about the same topic and see which one you find more engaging and effective. Here are some scenarios. Think about how you complain. When you complain about something, chances are that your emotions are running high and you'll revert to the communication style you feel most comfortable with. Do you want to see someone face to face? Visual. Complain to someone over the phone? Auditory. Or bang your fists on the table? Kinesthetic. Imagine yourself in an uncomfortable situation. If you were lost in a strange city at night, how would you find your way to your destination? Or do you use a map, visual, ask someone for directions, auditory, or just keep walking until you worked out where you were, kinesthetic? What style of presentation do you prefer? Think back to the last presentation you attended and what was the thing that most stuck in your mind? Was it the charts or visual aids, visual, the words the presenter used, auditory, or audience participation, kinesthetic? VAK learning styles can provide valuable insights into how individuals perceive, process, and remember information. Whether it's using visual aids, using music or role-playing exercises, or incorporating movement into learning activities, there are many ways to leverage VAK learning styles to reach your full potential.